The impending rental time bomb. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from commercialrealestate.com looking at, well, the impending rental time bomb that small business owners are warning about. Now this is interesting because, well, we looked at different REITs, real estate investment trusts, and some of them are being, well, quite fortunate in their ability to attract rent. Commercial property is being hit, retail property is being hit, and some of them are copying it, some of them are doing quite well. Some of the bigger centers are having trouble as many retailers, well, either go on rent strike or they simply can't afford to pay. And that's, well, after all of the issues that we've been talking about at the beginning of this year with the retail sector here in Australia just getting decimated. Often every day was another retailer going under, another one going into voluntary administration, another one being sold up. Jobs upon jobs at risk. And now we've got lockdowns galore, we've got issues traveling interstate, we've got the economy plunging more than it has since the Great Depression. So what's going to happen to commercial real estate? And what's going to happen to these small businesses when they're expecting to pay rent again? Because it's just deferred often. It's not a gift. It's not given away. And will that send some businesses to the brink? Because don't worry, everyone. Businesses can trade while insolvent right now. You don't worry. Just rack up more debt. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to pay it back. We really are in a clown world, everyone. It's just crazy. So small business owners warn of rental time bomb. And this is from the Sydney Morning Herald. Small business operators who lease shops or other property are warning of a ticking rental time bomb that will activate when commercial tenants are forced to repay deferred rents. The pandemic's destruction of the retail sector prompted the federal government to introduce a national mandatory code of conduct in April, requiring landlords to negotiate in good faith over leases with tenants. Deciding on circumstances, landlords are required to waive, or depending on circumstances, landlords are required to waive up to 50% of a tenant's rent and defer the other 50% under the code, which runs alongside JobKeeper until March next year. So, I mean, this just shows you the level of intervention the government is placing on the market. I mean, you'd be stupid. You would be stupid right now if you're a landlord to not make a deal with your tenants. It'd be just ludicrous. It'd be better to have a tenant there paying less rent or giving them a deal to keep them going through these tough times so your assets are occupied. You want to keep higher tenancy rates. That affects the valuation of your property. You don't want them all to go to the hill. And it would be, well, not a very astute landlord to help out the people that are helping your assets have value. But then again, there might be some there that aren't very astute. So, but retail tenants decimated by social distancing restrictions across the country and the extended lockdown in Victoria are warning the deferred rent component will bankrupt small businesses. Well, see, this is the thing, everyone. There are some businesses that are going on business now that probably shouldn't. They probably shouldn't. They're probably already at the edge. They may not even realize that their business is no longer viable. They may hope that we're getting this V-shaped recovery. But maybe they're just running on fumes. Or they're just wanting to keep it going to get the JobKeeper coming in to keep their workers. Or maybe they don't care because they're trading. Well, they can trade while insolvent. The directors aren't personally liable. The legislation requires 50% of our rent to be deferred and repaid later, said Brent Sturmsky, the founder of LPI Group, which controls dozens of children's play space franchises, including Lollipops, Kangas, Tuffy Fruity, and Crazy Climb. I do not know what any of those things are. Because you know what play spaces we go to? We go to the Bunnings. The Bunnings playground. My kids love that. I guess it just shows you how cheap a father I am. Come on, kids, let's go to the Bunnings Play Centre. Yay! Go on, let me know in the comments, guys, while I have a shot of coffee, if you're as bad as I am. Because they love those little trolleys to pushing them around. And you could fit a fair bit in a little tiny kid trolley, you know. This appeared reasonable at the time, but is now a burden that will most likely bankrupt many small businesses, he said. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It could have been worse. They could have deferred the whole lot. Maybe he needs to liquefy some of the franchises. The group's 20-year-old Lollipop Play Centre in Bentley East in Melbourne's eastern suburbs is accruing rental costs of close to $9,000 a month and will owe its landlord $80,000 in deferred rent by the time it reopens. With no revenue coming through the doors, he said. Well then, you need to shut it down, mate. Do you think it's going to jump back? This is what happens in a recession, guys. This is not going to be nice. This isn't going to be friendly. And you've got to remember the restrictions that the government put in place. Next time you go to vote, next time people say they did a good job, you've got to remind them of the livelihoods and businesses that were destroyed because of this intervention, and ask yourself if it was worth it. "18 out of the group's 28 Lollipops Play Centres are based in New South Wales and Victoria, and he expects to close up to 6 in the next year as rental payments will make them unviable. Apart from the Bentley Centre, all the Lollipops are run by individual owner-operators. Why then should the landlord be guaranteed 50% of their income during this time?" he said. They're not. They're going to lose other income. You signed a contract with them. Aren't there clauses? Could you say it's a force of nature, or not really? Well, if the state intervenes, sue the state. Landlords who own equity in their property are in a better position to receive no income than small business owners are, he said. Well, what if they don't own equity in their property? What if where's your emergency fund? Why don't you have 2 years of funds set aside? That's it. Why don't you negotiate with them and tell them we can't do it? We don't want to do this 50% deal with the government. How about I just pay you 25% moving forward? Or you lose us. I mean, that's the thing, guys. Who else is going to line up to take his spaces here? You might have gotten a better deal if the government had intervened. Large national property landlords like Vicinity and Centre are pushing for tighter definitions of small business under the code and a month-by-month extension of its mandatory conditions. Well, see, this is the thing. They're going to cop it anyway. If businesses start going down left, right, and centre, start going bankrupt, they're going to hit it. They'll wise up pretty quick. When, in the past, they'll just turf someone out and not care about it if there's not 50 people lining up anymore to come back in. Because, what corporate memory would they have of the last recession? The Victorian government late last month extended its ban on tenant evictions and rental increases until the end of the year. Just think about that. We're in a free market, apparently. While also boosting assistance to tenants and landlords. The Real Estate Institute of Victoria said the process for dealing with tenancy disputes was cracking under the weight of the pandemic, as thousands of cases are banking up with the Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal and the Dispute Resolution Centre of Victoria. Now, what they have done, what the REIV has done, they've just pushed everything to it because they're quite critical of the state governments essentially shutting down their entire sector. You can't even have one-on-one visits or inspections of property anymore, so that's just decimating any chance they have. No, it's more than decimating. It's cutting. It's destroying the entire industry. There's no chance. Who's going to go and buy a property now? So that's why, Victoria, the Administrative Tribunal in Victoria is getting flooded with these cases because they're just pushing them all on. They're not negotiating anymore. Or at least that was the recommendation from the REIV. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? What if people desperately need to sell and they can't do it? And, now he's complaining. He was happy. This guy was happy before when the government intervened. But now he's complaining about it because he'll still have to pay some. mate, you're going to have to renegotiate with them. Try and get a better deal. If people start pulling out, that's what's going to happen. This isn't going to be nice, guys. This is going to be tough. It's kind of sad. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day. I'll see you all next time.